finesse this beat.
Hey my loves, it's your girl Talia Aileen, and it is Scripture Sunday. So this Scripture Sunday is going to be a little different. It's like story time because basically, as the title say, God used me for someone. And when I tell you it was like the most beautiful feeling ever, like to help somebody out because you have a testimony of a situation where you've been in their stage and you're scared and you felt the same emotions as them, and you're able to let them know that you were in their shoes before and everything's going to be okay because God always takes control. So yes, let's get started with this story. But first, if you have not seen my other videos, I recommend that you do. They're all down below. I will add the links to, just because I know some people get lazy. Like I was that lazy person, like just send me the link and I got you. But don't worry, the link will be there. But yes, let's get to the story. So basically, I was at work and like I really was not beat to go to work that day, like at all. Like I was so tired, like my body was drained. I never call out, but I really was not beat, so my attitude was like, I don't want to be here. So I noticed in the beginning I had to go get the patients, and I usually don't like getting patients because it's early in the morning, and for me to go get them and then push the bed all the way to the operating room, it's a lot of work. But you know, that's honestly how I stay fit at my job, like pushing these beds and moving these patients, honey. Okay. Anyway, so I go pick up this patient, and the family is so like, I don't know, I just felt something about them. They were like so cute, and just their energy and everything was just great. So when I first greeted the lady, she was smiling. She was like, "Hi, nice to meet you." I'm like, "Oh, nice to meet you. My name's Talia. I'll be taking care of you. I will get you to the operating room." She was like, "Thank you." She was like, "I'm nervous, but I trust the doctors. I know everything's gonna be okay." And then when I look to the right, I see her daughter. Well, she had her two daughters there, her husband and her grandchildren. But her daughter, like I could tell, she was like nervous. Like she wasn't feeling this. She was not up for her to get surgery. So as soon as I'm about to take her, she starts crying. So I'm like, oh snap. Now let me explain something. I am the biggest crybaby. Like if I see other people cry, I cry. When I see movies, I cry. Like it's bad. I'm a crybaby gangster. But yeah, so she's crying, and then I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like don't worry, she's gonna be in good hands. Like you know, and then she's like, you know, she was like, I'll find out where you live. Like I do not care when it comes to your mom. But I knew she didn't mean no harm. Like cause I'm the same way. Like I'm a mom's girl and a daddy's girl. Like I do not play when it comes to my parents. So I knew exactly how she felt. And I was just telling her like everything's gonna be okay. She didn't have to, you know, stress about it. So I taking her mom to the operating room, and she's like, you know, God really sent you for my daughter. Like you made her feel so comfortable. You made her, you know, feel like everything was gonna be okay. And usually we can't do that. So for you to be able to do that, that's a big thing. And I was like, oh, thank you. So honestly, I wasn't expecting to see them because their surgery was so early in the morning. But because I was in the operating room, I wasn't in recovery yet until like the end of my shift. So as I'm like doing my roundings and stuff, I see the family there. So I'm like, you know, gonna go say like, hello, how was surgery? Like you look great, da 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 da. And she looked amazing, but her daughter was still crying. So I'm like, something right. So she was getting back surgery, and one of the screws had got loose and fell into her abdomen. So she had to go back in surgery to get that removed. So her daughter was like freaking out, and I'm like, all right. So I take her back. They were like, yo, Talia, can you take her back to her room? So I take her back to her room, and I'm talking to her. I'm like, look, I just need you to calm down. Like, I don't want the kids to see you like this. Like, everything's going to be okay. I was like, matter of fact, let's just go to your room. So I take her to the room, and then I go back to make sure everything's good. But something told me to go back to the room where she was at and just say something to her. So I went back to the room. She was on the phone, you know, explaining to one of her family members what was going on. And I was like, as soon as she got off the phone, I was like, you know, everything's gonna be okay. All you got to do is just pray. I was like your mom said, God has this under control. You have to worry about anything. And she was like, you know, thank you. She was like, this really means a lot. She was like, matter of fact, would you pray with me? I'm like, of course I'll pray with you. So I prayed with her and let her know like everything was be okay. But then I also gave her a testimony. Now I really don't normally like talking about this because I get very emotional, but since I'm being open and transparent, I might as well. So I was telling her how I was in her situation before. Like, I felt like it was too much going on. I couldn't handle it. Like, I couldn't lose my mom because she literally holds everything down. Like, everything down. Without her, I don't know where I would be. So I knew her how she was feeling, because it's funny because I forgot to add this, but her mom was saying like, yeah, I was like, do you hold everything down? Like, are you usually the one that controls everything? She was like, yeah. I was like, nah, I know exactly how your daughter feels. She was like, yeah, that's my baby. I'm like, all right, so back to that. I was telling her how I felt the same way as she, and when I was 10 years old, try not to cry, my mom got hit by a car. And that was like the worst day of my life. Like, I didn't know what was going on. It was too much. Basically what happened was my my mom was trying to surprise us. We was at football practice and cheerleading practice, and she tried to surprise us and walk down the bike path to the football field from our house, and she ended up getting hit. Now, the guy didn't even stop. He kept going. That's what made me mad even more. But then we ended up getting backtracked, because I'm going to tell you how God works, yo. God works in mysterious ways. So she gets hit or whatever. My dad finds out because this guy heard her like moaning and groaning. He called the police, and then my dad had knew what happened to my mom. So I'm at cheerleading practice trying to look for my dad because it's time for us to go, because I was ready to eat. I knew my mom's cooking was about to be smacking. I need to go home ASAP. So this girl walks up to me and was like, yeah, your dad just got hit by a car. I'm like, what? I'm like, my dad's right over there. He just finished coaching. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, your dad got hit by a car. I'm like, what? Then next thing I know, I forget who it was. Oh, man. They came up to me and told me that my mom got hit by a car. And I'm like, bruh. So then I try to go look for my brothers, and they're crying. I'm like, oh, my God, bruh. This cannot be happening to me right now. Like, Lord, please, 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 please don't let this be true. So actually, Mark Woods, his dad had took us home, and you know, my grandmother met us at the house. It was just too much, yo, too much going on. So turns out the guy that hit my mom, he was actually picking up his son from football practice, the same field I was at, and that's how we found out who he was. Because if he didn't, he would have never stopped for my mom, and my mom probably would have been dead if she wasn't moaning and groaning loud enough for someone to hear her. Anyway, so at that time I was 10 years old. This is like the beginning of the school year, cheerleading, all that stuff. And then I hear this news. Thank God my mom is still here to this day. Like, he knew I needed her. He knew. I had to spend 3 months. She was in the hospital 3 months. I had to spend seeing her every day. I did not care. I'd rather have seen her 3 months in the hospital rather than seeing her 3 times a week at a gravesite. Like, I did not. I spent my birthday. It had been on September 10th, 2010. Yeah, 2010. And I spent my birthday there. Like, I did not. I was so grateful to have my mom. And all I remember is my grandmother telling me, just pray every night that your mom will be okay. Just pray every night that she'll be okay. And I prayed every single night. And she is still here. Y'all cannot tell me that's not a God, bro. Like, I'm a living testimony. And that moment when I got to express that to her, like, I was crying. Like, right now I'm more calm about it because I'm home. I feel safe. Like, I know my mom's right there, but I wasn't in her presence at the time, so I was crying, and I was just telling her, like, it's going to be okay, just pray. And I left the room, got myself together, went back to work, and then I just had a breakdown. I was just thanking Jesus. I was like, Lord, I thank you because you let me be a living testimony to somebody. You let me help them in a time of need. And then it turns out, like, I stayed a little bit after my time of work to make sure everything was good. And she ended up being great. They got the screw out. Everything was perfect. Like, you know, God works in mysterious ways. He always makes a way. Anyway, I told her nurse to know, make sure that she tells her I said I'm glad she's okay, and I would give her nothing but blessings. And turns out I ended up working there the next day, so I got to see her in the morning and, you know, talk to her and let her know that I was happy she's okay. And she said she liked me. She said I was very, very sweet and she wished nothing but blessings for me. But I was just so happy that I was able to, you know, share that with somebody. And maybe this can help somebody that's watching, because I knew I didn't know what to do if I lost my mom. Like, she's literally the trunk of the tree, like the family tree. For real. I love my mom. But yes, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe. And what else? Oh, follow me on socials. It should be down here. And watch my other videos. Please stay tuned, guys. I love the feedback. Let me get to that. I love the love, guys. Like, you guys don't understand how much it makes me feel that you guys are supporting me, because I was really scared to start this and I didn't think I was going to get any support, but y'all been blessing me and I thank y'all. So stay blessed and have a blessed day. Get somebody.